Shall I? Okay.
Ну что, приступим? Хорошо.
Welcome
Добро пожаловать.
to the session.
На-
Thanks for coming. You know,
Спасибо, что
you selected me.
вы выбрали
There is the lunch
а,
and me,
сейчас
but
обед,
you are
да,
here.
но вы все равно
Anyways, you have one more shift
в любом
so that
случае
you
у вас
can
есть
enjoy.
одна смена, поэтому мы
Today I'm going to talk about
сегодня я вам расскажу
usability and user experience testing. And this is my second time
о тестировании.
as a conference speaker here in Riga.
Выступаю в качестве
Previously,
конференции здесь, в Риге.
I think it was
Раньше, я думаю,
2013 or 14. Maybe you know the conference Tapost. I was talking about mobile testing there one time, and this is my second time. So, I am a test consultant working in company Tester U, which is providing services on software testing, as the name goes by. And I am a frequent speaker in conferences, and this is one of my, top topics. So let me start with my philosophical slides. So let us put the philosophy first. My first slide will be, this is a strong saying from me, life is a test. I don't know if you agree or not. And every human is a tester. So just think about your daily lives. When you wake up till you go to bed, you do a lot of testing. I don't mean your jobs, but you do a lot of testing. You control the lock, you check the iron, you check the food, whatever. You check your kids, you taste the meal. You do many testing, and that's why testing, it goes really far past till till the creation of first humans. The very first testing happens. Do you know where it happened? The first testing. Any clue? It was happened by, Adam and Eve. You know those people. They are the first humans. And they were having fun in heaven without any limitations. But they have only one constraint coming from God. He says, okay, you can do whatever you want. See, this is a perfect place, but don't touch that tree, and especially to that apple. If you do, you are kicked out of heaven. So this is the requirement, basically. What they do, they create a test case. The expected result was, kicking out of heaven. I don't know who triggered the conversation, Adam or Eve. So one of those people once said that, okay, let's check. Maybe it's not true, We can both enjoy apple and heaven. So let's check if our first test case fails or not. Then they ate the apple, and then test case passed. Unfortunately, expected result, it holds, and they are out of heaven. So this is the very first test operation by human beings. And after that, it's going like hell. The only UX equation matters is you need to bring more value than the pain you are causing. So this is the very basic formula. So if you have any service or any digital product or even any physical product, while you are using it, it brings you value, hopefully. If not, then you will drop it. And it brings also some pain. It is somehow painful. So if the value is greater than pain, then you can continue using that. This is an important formula for us. Many people, they tend to think that user experience testing is like a focus group. You call several people into a room, you make a focus group and ask them some silly questions, do an interview with those guys, and in the end you got some answers. You cannot 100% trust to those answers because people, while they are having fun with the application, they complain a lot, and controversially, while they are having pain with an application, they may say that, it's perfect. So, we tend to say that you need to observe users while they are using your products or services, not just by interviewing them and asking them the questions, because generally what users do is not the same thing with what users say. Okay, this is important. This is another philosophical stuff. Testing is not always quantitative. In most of the trainings, we were taught to, build test reports, including metrics. Because otherwise, testing could be a subjective thing. Because human beings are doing testing mostly. It can differ from one person to another person. So what you need to do is you need to have some numbers in your test reports. Like, I have 100 test cases, 90 of them are passing, 10 of them are failing, I have this amount of defects. But this is not the same always. This is not the case in user experience testing. It needs to have some feelings as well. Sometimes you need to have test reports out of your user experience testing sessions, and those reports should have phrases like that. Users get confused with the new main menu, for example. Users are getting confused. It's not a metric that you can use in a regular test report, but you need to have those in your user experience testing reports. So from that perspective, user experience testing is not like a Boolean function with zeros and ones. I am an ex-software developer, so my brain, my genetics is, I'm more coded to black and white. Some stickers, yeah, for myself. Okay, so, most of the time, just before touching to user experience testing, we think that only defects are the things, coming from functional zones. Something like if a program, it malfunctions, then there is a defect. For example, imagine a screen having many fields, and in the end you have some call to action. You have some buttons. When you press the button, if the screen is freezing, then this is the defect. Generally, most developers' brain is working like that. But in user experience testing, you even have some screens which may confuse your users, and in the end you need to convince your developers to fix those usability bugs. Then you report a bug, and in the bug you say that users are getting confused on this screen. And imagine what developers are doing. They said, I cannot understand the defect here. You said, they are getting confused. They said, I'm not. I can fill in the blanks here, and when I push the button, it works. Okay, you can fill in the blanks, but if you are looking at the users, they cannot fill in the blanks. They don't know how to fill in those blanks. It is not that intuitively designed. So you need to fix that. This is, from a perspective, this is a gray zone, basically speaking. Most of the user acceptance testing feedback is based on usability stuff. You realize your users, when they come to acceptance testing, they are always complaining, telling you to change all those things, and most of them are not program malfunctions, and you tend to support and defend your, application there in that session. But you need to also think from their perspective. Okay, there is dignity in convincing developers to fix usability bugs, yes, definitely. Testers should act like users. The famous phrases like verification and validation. In verification, mostly testers do verification. It means that if the software is built right. But what if it is not a right software? You can build it right, but in the end, you may not reach the right product in the end. So this, we call it validation. In the end, users are doing more validation. So if I were in your shoes, I would do some empathy, with the users. So you, as testers, you need to put yourselves into their shoes. And while testing the products, not only just verify that the software is built right, but also you need to validate it, if it is the right product, if it is satisfying the users or not. So this is important. But still we know that you are not users. You can be a user of the product you are testing in real life, but still it doesn't make you a real, unbiased user. So it's important. 7, yeah, many tests are being run in the entire world, but most of them, to be honest, they don't have any objective. In user experience testing, you may test almost everything, but first you need to ask yourself, what do I need to know from this test? For example, am I checking here the newly built main menu structure, or am I checking here the visuals that we put on the website, or we are checking the interaction design, what is the workflow, whatever. So you need to focus on some point in order to extract some value from the test. Otherwise, you can lost in the dark. So it's it's a big area to test, so you cannot extract anything if you don't have the objective. So, in a way, you need to ask just questions, you need answers. Test automation is very popular, am I right? Who is doing test automation here? Very nice. Some others are shy to, they want to raise hands, but yeah. And do you know what I ask to those people? Do you do test automation? They say, yes. The second question, why? Most answers I got is, because all the others are doing, first. Second, because I can. This shouldn't be the answer, but this is this subject, I will cover it in another session maybe. I don't have time for it, but okay. Automation, you can basically automate everything, but in user experience testing, does it bring you any value? So there is no software built until now who can tell you that I am getting confused with this screen. Okay, artificial intelligence, my friend will talk about, yeah, I'm curious about your session, Joel, but yeah, I don't know if there is something like that. So just skip automation if you are doing user experience testing, because you need real user judgment here, yeah? Real user feedback. You need human beings in this test. So don't automate it, please. Okay, automation. And when you get the reports, there are many problems. There are many, inconsistencies and so on. And you try to jump into the solution in the first minute, which is not correct. What Einstein says, if he faces a problem, he says, I would spend 55 minutes on thinking about and understanding the problem rather than solving it. But, in my country, I think in yours as well, Joel, like hot-blooded people, they try to jump into the solution and they think that they will solve each and every problem within some minutes or days. But here it is not the case. You need to take it one by one step at a time. You can think big, but you need to act small. This is the approach in usability bugs. And this is where all the bugs are coming, When some people come together, the very famous saying is like, oh my God, users won't do that. And what happens in production? They will do that. So if you say something like that, we tend to say that testers never assume. So assumptions are killing testing, we say. So you cannot assume as a tester, so we need to know that if you use this, you will have the bug. Users are strange. Do you agree? Yes, really strange. First, they complain a lot. They cry a lot, They are complaining about a tool that you have designed for them, and in the end, you redesign the tool, but they cry more than the previous one, you know? They even cry more and more. They are complaining about everything, so in the end, as most of the guys are telling, I am supporting the other side of the equation. Most of the people tend to say, customer is always right. No. Users or customers are not always right, but they always have a point, you know. You need to capture that point, and world is, you know, full of those examples. For example, coming from Henry Ford, I think you already know it. If I would ask people what they want, they would ask for faster horses, you know. And in the end, he is telling that I produce automobile, you know. From this quotation, this is not a, you know, this is not a sentence coming from Henry Ford to praise himself, you know, or to humiliate other people. Because at those ages, you know, at that time, like late 80s, so people cannot tell you to bring them automobiles because, you know, they don't have technology at all. So they are living in the villages. So if you ask them, what can I do for you? They would just give you a simple answer, faster horses. But in the end, they are not right here. You cannot build faster horses. But in the end, automobile is a faster horse. Am I right? So if you can capture that point, then you can build on the product. And also, you know, there are many those space pen stuff. Maybe you know it. They ask to the astronauts, NASA, they ask to their astronauts, what you need in, you know, space. We want to, you know, serve you. You are very important to us, our astronauts. So just wish something and I will make it happen. And most of the guys, astronauts, they said, pen. We want pen. And you know, in zero gravity, pen doesn't work. It, you know, flows. So NASA says, okay, we are, you know, we have money, and these guys are important to us, so why not just invest on it, $1 million, and they've created the space pen. And you know what the Russian space pen is? It's like, it's just a pencil, you know. They put it in an emballage, and it says Russian space pen, which is just a pencil, and it can write in space. It means here, you know, users are not always right. You just not focus on the solution. You need to focus on the problem first. And you need to capture the problem. Here, the problem is not that they don't have the pen, but they want to write something down. This was the problem. So it can be solved by a pencil. Users, most of the time, we think that they hate change, but no, they just hate you. Because why? I don't know why. Because, you know, if you make their life easier, they become happy. But we have a approach for it. We call it baby duck syndrome. So like a baby duck, it compares everything with his mom. So it's like when he sees some chair, resembles, and he thinks that this is his new mom, you know. He's reacting like that. So users are like the same. When you use a product, now it is into your user experience. It is, you know, blended with your daily user experience. When you have a new product, directly what you do, you criticize the new one. And you say that the previous one was better, you know. But after a while, you know, this will disappear and you will get used to the new one or the better one. This is important. Users are picky. They are very selective. Am I right? Especially nowadays, you have thousands of applications doing the same thing, basically. So you can just delete an account on some application and jump onto another account very easily within seconds. So you have the power, so you have the selection power. And also, we tend to say that based on the Pareto rule, 80% of users are just using 20% of the features that are being offered to them. But we tend to put more and more features into our products. And in that way, we believe that, you know, if we produce more features, we produce more freedom. But it is the reverse. if you have less and less features, then the users, will be less confused and will use the products in a more efficient way. This is important. And yes, users share everything, especially the bad experience. They did a research on it and they said that good experience we share with 5 people, and if we have bad experience, we share it with 20 people. So it means that, bad news travels fast. So if you do something bad to your users, you need to be sure that it is, like a word of mouth. It spreads very fast. And in user experience, we tend to say that just one bad experience overrides thousands of good experiences. Imagine yourself, you go to a restaurant for the last 10 years, and you ordered more than maybe 300 meals there, the same meal every day, but on your 1,365th visit, you have a food which is not cooked well, and the next time you tend to not to go there, It is preventing you to go there again. Okay, the last 10 years you were there, like you were living in the restaurant, but with just only one bad experience, you stop going there. This is, how the users are relentless, they are really very picky. Users need caring. They want to feel themselves special with the products they use, with the services they use. And if they are, neglected, they are unhappy. And I think you are all using many services, products in entire life. And there are different user segmentations, like this is platinum user, this is gold, this is silver, this is shit, whatever. So these are the priority class, these are the, folks, citizens, just regular people, which is not important at all. These are VIP, these are whatever. What I saw in my visit to America is I wanted to buy something to my baby girl. I found this lady saddle. It's like a saddle, but it doesn't have only one user, If this is the only user, then, he is happy. But, you buy it for yourself as well. It makes you a horse, and your daughter, cowgirl, whatever. So she is on you, very happy. But what about you, Here in this picture, the guy seems to having fun, but it is not that enjoyable. I used that in several occasions. It's hard, and also I have a injury on my back. So from that perspective, I feel that I am neglected, yeah? And I was the one who is paying the money. So while you are promoting some of your users, please be sure that the others will not get that much offended. So it is important while you are doing a promotion, you need to demote some other people. Users also, they become fanatics very easily. If you create an emotional bond with your users, they are your followers. And they will not quit, Like, for example, the Spotify thing. First, they come into our lives with free of charge stuff. This is completely free. Then they said, okay, a couple of euros, nothing more. Now it is, really expensive service, but no one is dropping that. Even if we can find all the music we need within seconds, but we still use Spotify because that is our love mark, for example. And it happens with many products in your entire life. So this is the same. If something becomes your love mark, even it is producing pain, and even if you pay more and more, you still use those. This is another user, characteristics here. And also users, they have different mental models, different physical constraints. Like, for example, some users, they have fat fingers. And if you are producing mobile applications, when they click on something, they click on everything. So they just say, okay, don't we have a right to use that thing because my fingers are really thick and fat. So they have a club for it, fatfingers.com, You can go if you have fat fingers. And also from this point, you can, you need to hire fat finger testers also. I saw some test teams, like ladies, very beautiful, but you know, they don't have fat fingers. You need to also focus on that. Some people are impatient. You know, many people, they throw away wild wise while if it is not responsive. Yeah. I had in my family those people, like me, for example, myself, impatient. So they have another group. They call it tooslow.com. Also, some users, they easily get offended, you know. Oh, this is racist. Oh, this is very sexist. So something like that. Get offended. We need to have that button, you know. We have only like button in Facebook. Maybe we need to put there a get offended button. So these are the things that you need to focus while you are doing it. And now my last thing, I want to talk a little bit about the testing. So we all know that, I don't know, UX testing or user experience is the broader set or usability is the broader set. Let me ask you the question. If you use a usable product, it will bring you a good user experience versus if you bring a product who is delivering good user experience, in the end will be a usable product. Like chicken and egg problem. Chicken and egg. Which one is coming from which one? User experience. Let me tell you the answer. Generally, these kind of silly questions, they don't have any answer, you know. In the end, it depends. No, here we have an answer, and user experience is the broader set, of course. Because user experience just starts before you interact with any product. It continues while you are interacting with the product, and also it doesn't end after you stop using the product. It still continues. For example, if you order something from Amazon very easily, and it says that it will be delivered to your house on Monday, if it doesn't come to your house on Monday, if it comes late, then you go to the App Store, you click on 1 star, and you said that, okay, bullshit, my watch didn't come to my house, my delivery, whatever. But it is not a problem of the design, it is not a problem of the functionality, it's just a problem of logistics, you know. Some company, logistic company, they failed to, you know, organize your package so that you didn't get it on time. But, you know, from the user experience point of view, after you use the product, it still continues so that you go and hit the 1 star on the App Store. Yes. So, UX is broad. Which one do you pick first? This was, I remember, a panel. I was the panel chair, and I had 3 people next to me, 3 panelists. I was asking them the question. One of those guys is an upper manager of a bank. The other one was an upper manager of an insurance company, and the other one is the upper manager of an e-commerce company, like Amazon. I asked them, if you are dropped into the island, which one do you pick? These 4. Functionality, reliability, performance, usability. Bank says security. Reliability. Okay, I said. Because he says, we are dealing with money, so we need to be reliable, whatever. Okay, thank you. What about insurance guy? He says, we need to be quick because many things are happening in a blink of an eye, so I pick performance. I said, okay. The other guy, e-commerce, they said, okay, we are touching the end user so much, so we need to be trendy and friendly, so we need to have simple interfaces. I would pick usability. And the only thing I have in my hand was functionality. And I turned to those guys and said, okay, your bank is very reliable, but you cannot send money. Your insurance company is very fast, but you cannot create any policy. And your e-commerce company is very trendy and friendly and usable, but I cannot add anything into the basket. They said, oh my God, don't be, you know, okay, I don't want to use that word, but they said, okay, ridiculous. We take it as a default, you know, functionality. It should function first, but I answered back, you know, if it is a default, I would not give you as a choice, you know. People, which one do you aim? For example, many people are coming to my classes, my training classes, Some of them are coming from military service, some of them banking, some of them insurance, some of them retail, whatever. I ask them, you have products, guys. Which is your aim? You want to produce useful products? You want to produce usable products? Or you want to produce compelling products? Which is your aim? You don't aim, I understand. Just products. Okay, just to tell you, you know, many people, for example, they are soldiers coming to my session. They were using tank, you know, that device, hitting bombs, and they were using it, and they said it couldn't be compelling, you know, a small place. Yeah, you know, I will not set an alarm in the night to jump into the tank because that we have very nice screens. So in our case, let it be useful. And for an insurance company guy, they told me, okay, we cannot be compelling because, you know, we are not a game. If it's Angry Birds, you can, you know, even set an alarm and play it whole night without sleeping. But, you know, this is why this happens, is they translate the word compelling wrong. Compelling means bringing you an experience that is worth sharing to others. If you translate it like that, you need to judge that all the products and services should be compelling from a manner, you know? You need to translate it like that. Okay, where do we conduct UX testing? Yeah, honestly speaking, when we first, you know, constructed our company, we had those labs. And we were proud of our labs, you know? We tend to say people, because we had phone calls every night and day, they were asking, do you have a UX lab? Yes. It is like, you know, like this, we push people into that small room, and some other guys are here observing those people. So we have all the devices and so on. But do you think that it will be neutral? Do you think anyone who is really pushed into that room could act normally? So you don't have to have a usability lab at all. You can do it in the wild, purely in the wild, in the context where people are using the application. This is important. In the wild is important. When to do user experience testing? Do you do it in the end, or in the beginning, or throughout? I think it's obvious. Am I right? You need to do it throughout. We have formative usability testing. We have summative usability testing. Both of them are bringing many values. If you can do it in production, it has benefits. If you can do it in immature phases, like in the design phase, it brings you many values. So you need to do it throughout. How many users are enough? Someday what happened, some guy from a bank, they called our company. They want to talk to the principal guy. I was at that time the principal. Okay, they hand over the phone to me. I said, yes, how can I help you? And he said, we want to do a user experience testing. And I'm calling you from a bank. We have a mobile banking application, and we want it to be tested with users. And I want to ask you a question. How many users you are using in your tests? I said, it's based on the segmentation. How many user profiles you have? Yeah, we have 4 different user profiles. Then we would have 5 from each profile, so totally 20 people is enough. 20? Are you serious? Because we have 20 million users, you know. Just with 20 users, how can I have something, you know, reliable? Because we have 20 million users now, customers. But you are now telling me that you just use 20 people. Yes, my honey, but you know, she was a lady. Yeah, you know why? Because we tend to not to have, you know, from a usability testing session, we don't want to extract some statistics. Instead, we want to find bugs, usability bugs. We are not telling like that. Out of these 20 people, 18 of them uses the product very easily. So it means that 90% of your 20 million users will use it freely. It is against statistical theories. Am I right? Because the number of observation is so small. But believe me, that 20 people would tell you more than 90% of the usability bugs that are in the product. And if you even call for 50 people, they would not tell you anything else. You got my point. So you need to keep it small, between 5 to 10. This is important. Okay, let me be fast. How do we select users? What was it? Okay, based on the behavior, of course. Most of the time, they did the same mistake because they select their users based on their ages, salary, whatever, but instead, you need to use their behaviors. You need to group them based on their behaviors. This is important. How long is a session? What do you think? At most. You know, it should be minutes. If I would do it, it would be like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. You know, they push people into the room and say that, okay, today you are here, you know. You need to do test. He's not a, you know, functional tester. This is not an in-house stuff. So it needs to be quick. Which equipment? This is very nice. You know, there are many devices like eye tracking things and those electroencephalography devices and many sensors like those. You invite people. You put this in onto the head and say to the lady that, okay, now just act normally, and we will capture your, you know, eyes, and we will tell you which areas on the screen you are looking. Yeah, but I'm not that comfortable. Okay, but, you know, this is a high technology device, you know. Like this. Put your, it's like that, you know, and use it normally. This is, you know, what I don't like at all. Let them, you know, alone. Don't plug something on your users, you know. They need to be free. And what they, you know, many companies are asking us to do eye tracking. They love those. Have you ever seen an eye tracking output? It basically says that which parts of the screen users are looking the most. And they wanted to have it so much. Let me do a test. Now I'm giving you the heat map of you. I have a sensor in the classroom. And this is the output. You know, you think that maybe this is a handsome guy. Most of the ladies here are looking at that, but no, people are looking at the nose, you know. That means I don't, you know, even forget a project of us. A bank said to do some eye tracking on their new home screen, and we gave them the results. And especially, I didn't do anything, and I will check their response. They said that, we are very happy because of the results. I said, why? Do you know why? Because based on the heat map, all the users are looking at our new menu design. I said, do you know why? No, because they don't understand where to click, you know. So it means that users do not only look for the things they like, but sometimes if they are confused, they look. If they hate something, they look, you know. So it means that you cannot interpret heat map results standalone. You need to combine it with some other metrics. You need to combine it. Okay. This is for you, Joel. How do you test AI? Yeah, in Turkey, my friends, sorry, they are really silly guys. When my house is full of artificial intelligence stuff, speakers, something like that. When they come to my house, the first thing is, sorry for my language, but the guys, when we are man-to-man, they take the speaker, they tell me, this is smart, huh? I said, yes. He is like, fuck you. And the device is most of the time, sorry, I cannot understand what you say. I'm sorry, I cannot help. And he says, this is not smart. And you know what he expects? He's expecting the device to swear to him, you know? Like, I fuck you too, and your loved ones, and also your family, whatever. Oh, this is very smart now. Oh my God, very intelligent device. This is not a way to do artificial intelligence testing. He would tell you the correct way, you know? But still, you do things like that, for example. don't do things like that because, you know, it will not come and kick you back because there is the code of ethics, you know, coming by Asimov. It says those devices or robotics or any artificial intelligence algorithm may not harm you, may not control you, may not give you harm, any harm, you know. It's against the rules. Otherwise, you can build really good swearing devices. Yeah, to be sure on that. And this is my final thing. What do you measure in your tests? One day, I got a call from Japan. Very serious guys. Any Japanese guys? No, I'm free to talk. Okay, they call me, yeah, we have a product which is very special and it has an embedded software on it and we want it to be tested with users. I said, okay. And he asked me, what kind of metrics do you have in your sessions? I said, okay, we have time on task. We are giving them some task and holding the time. Then we do the success rate. We are measuring the success rate, if the task is successful or not. Then we do video capture. We can eye track where they are looking at, something like that. So areas of interest. And we have many metrics that we will make you happy. But think aloud. Also, when the user is in a session, we tell him to think aloud while he is doing the task, so that we can capture his feelings. I tell him a lot, and in the end, I forgot to ask about the product. And my last word was, do you mind if I ask you what kind of a product is yours? He said, yes. You know, it's an electronic closet. Full of buttons, you know. I don't know what is happening because I was not a user of it. But, you know, when you need to sit and push the buttons and it will do some nice things to you. You know, these are special material on our bodies, so you need to take care of those. And that's a device like that. He says, this is the device. And his voice was really strict. I mute the phone while I said, okay, do you know why? What? You need to forget what I said to you. In this case, we will just put them into the toilet, close the door, wait for 10 minutes, gave them the task, and the task is obvious. There is no exploratory task, you know? This is directed, so do it. Close the door. When they are coming out, we will ask them, how was it? And they would tell us, yeah, nice, very. But, you know, we could not do video capturing, you know, success rate, successful. Everything is in the, you know, you don't, you know, splash it. Okay. To keep it professional, I need to stop here, but we couldn't get that project in the end. I wanted to get that project, but because of my, you know, sense of humor, they didn't give it to us. But, you know, I'm utilizing that conversation in my sessions, like here. Okay, last words, not to hold you here, but okay, there are a lot of usability standards, like heuristics, like rules of thumb. You can learn those, whether the product is consistent, accessible, ergonomics, perceptible, credible, useful, visual styles, so on and so forth. There are many things that are already being authored until now. And also there are many techniques that you can even do, like A/B testing, 5-second test, first click test. You ask a user, for example, to do some task, and while they are doing that task, you are capturing the first click. If the first click is, by the way, right click, then the possibility of completing the task without help is 90% more. If the first click is false, then the user are in a mess. So this is important. So finally, final slide. Don't tell me we don't have time, because this doesn't have, you know, require so much time. You can touch your users. Don't tell me that you don't have budget. Again, you just need a laptop or a tablet or a mobile phone and some maybe cameras, and you can jump onto the streets, so you don't have to have some budget, expertise. Even with some reading material, you can get familiar with those usability, user experience heuristics standards so that you can use them really easily. That's not rocket science as my subject of my talk. We don't have usability data. This is not an excuse, you know. You don't need it, basically. And we have to interpret the results. Okay, if you combine the results, maybe for the first 1 or 2 trials, you may be a little bit have difficulties in interpreting the results, but after doing it for several times, you will get used to that. This is all I can say. Thank you very much for listening. Hope you enjoyed it.
Actually, due to delay, we do not have enough time to ask questions. You may ask questions.
Perfect. I did it on purpose. So,
Perfect.
thank you.
This one is for you. And another one, if someone will ask you a question.
Ugly. If I see ugly, I just think about my friend, but like me. Okay, yeah. What is this, by the way?
You should exchange it for a T-shirt. And another one
Yes.
is for someone. If someone will ask questions,